how did everybody come out of the game? Has availability changed for Wednesday?
It has, because Patrick's due to train tomorrow, which is a boost. Idan scored a goal as well, and I think he's available now to be. He scored for Legacy, and he's available to be ready for us as well. So there's a couple of additions there. Everybody else came through the game okay.
In terms of Idan, will that require some sort of roster move? I know that the freeze happened Friday. How will that kind of come to pass?
I think it was done on Friday.
Okay.
Yeah. So no, we put his name on the roster on Friday.
Announcement to come.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Oh, sorry.
Nope, all good.
In terms of what he can bring, how much does that give you a bit of a boost in terms of what you've been missing from the attack?
No, I mean, we wanted him to come in, get acclimatised with the club and get settled, show us what he's got, with the Legacy, and he scored 2 or 3 goals already. So he's nowhere near being the finished article, but he gives us some optionality, certainly in the forward line.
What were you able to surmise from the film study that went wrong with the 2 conceded goals?
There was a lot that went wrong with the 2 conceded goals. The first goal could have been stopped at source. It wasn't. As I said after the game, Cali did really well to deal with a short-headed back pass from Yede. But our reactions weren't good enough. It ended up with 3 of our back 4 and the goalkeeper defending, against 4 of their players, and our other 7 looking back on it, rather than reacting and getting back, which has been one of our strengths. And then the second goal, I spoke with Nathan about it. We can actually win the ball high up the pitch, but then the lad shouldn't turn on the halfway line. If you watch it back, the guy who crosses the ball runs from the edge of their box to put a cross on the edge of our box, and it could have been stopped so much earlier, and usually was. So it was a break from us that got transitioned on, and we didn't. Our rest defence wasn't good enough. There was a bit of fortune because it took a deflection out the keeper, and Carroll's chance to make it 2-2 could have also took a deflection and gone in as well. So sometimes the luck's either with you or it isn't.
What were you able to? I know you weren't asked about this after the game, but what happened with Yera? Was it a concussion? Was it a head, or what was it?
We used the concussion protocol, but I don't believe that it was a concussion. But they were concerned at the time, so that's why he came off.
Was it because did he take a hit, or was it because of the smoke, or what was it? Was it something you could?
I didn't see him smoking, to be honest, but.
No, the smoke bomb.
Oh, sorry, yeah. I don't know is the honest answer. I think it may have been a clash of heads somewhere, that maybe, I don't know. I honestly don't know the answer. He was just feeling a little bit dizzy.
In terms of kind of going back to the chance creation stuff, I know that we asked you before the game on Saturday, there's always stuff to say. What's the particular message you have for the particular struggles you had this past Saturday?
We have to work the goalkeeper more again. We got the ball, we won the ball back in great areas. If you just look at the first 5 minutes, I think it was, of the second half, they built up, we won the ball back 30 yards from their goal, and either the final pass wasn't quite right when we had a 4v4 or 4v3, or we hit the first man on the cross. And that's what we have to get better. And tactically we can put them in really good positions and tell them where we're going to go and win the ball and how we're going to go and hurt them. What we can't do as coaches is execute it. That's down to the players. And just spoke to them about taking some accountability on that and making sure they improve every day in training when they come in, because there were some instances there where we should be getting a massive chance and we don't. And we allow them to get back around the ball, back behind the ball too easily.
Do you think any of the reserves, you mentioned the fact that with the lack of goals, there could be some creep up from guys on the bench and the youngsters who were getting reserve goals? Do you feel like anybody's showing out to a point where they might threaten a starting position?
The hard thing is it's a massive jump from Legacy to the MLS. To think somebody's just scored 3 goals like Idan, and he can go and jump straight into the MLS and do it, I think is too big a jump straight away to warrant that. But what he's done, he's gone and shown potential, and I think when people do score goals, it gives them confidence as well. So, hopefully there are people that can come through.
Did DD respond with his start the way you wanted him to?
Yeah, I thought DD deserved the place after his subs appearance against Atlanta. I thought he came on and did extremely well for us for 30 minutes. And Gibril got the nod over Brandt, which was always a tough decision, but he won the ball back in good areas a few times, and his use of the ball was good as well.
What do you know about Orlando City?
So,
what do you know about Orlando City?
Only, of the game that we played earlier in the season. I think it was the game where Scotty got sent off, wasn't it? And I thought we were pretty comfortable at 11v11. Took an early lead, and then took a lead again, with 10 men going 2-1. I think it was Brant Bronico scored a breakaway goal. But they're a good footballing team. They've been doing fairly well at the moment. They've lost a couple of games, won a few games, so it's all to play for.
Is he able to play Wednesday night?
I believe so. I think he's passed the protocol that they have to do to follow up here.
Okay, and that header back, would you have rather seen him possess the ball and try and go forward or to the side, or?
I would expect better from him. About a minute before, he'd done a really good bit of defending from across from the opposite side and headed it back to the goalkeeper, and he tried to do it again. And Callie did what he needed to do. Really good keeper sweeper situation from him, and we had enough numbers then behind the ball to deal with it, and we didn't deal with it well enough.
I know we've heard a lot about we're not as hard to beat lately as you have been. It just so happens that Tim Ream has been introduced into the back line. Has there been any, I don't know.
No, not at all, because if you look back the 3 games previous to Tim coming, we conceded a goal at Cincinnati, we conceded a goal against Columbus, we conceded 2 in Austin. So it's not like we'd been keeping loads of clean sheets for them previous 3 goals. And, we conceded a breakaway goal against Red Bull, a breakaway goal against Atlanta, and then for me the 2 goals that we conceded were preventable. One of them should be classed as an own goal. It's a deflected goal that takes it over the goalkeeper. And look, our XG was better than their XG on Saturday, which shows me that we were better than we were in the previous 2 games, but not good enough to go and win the game.
And it sounds like also you're saying it's not just the back line, it's the midfield. Everybody's got to be.
Well, one of our strengths has always been when we lose the ball, we go and win it back quickly, or we get back in shape really quickly. And I think that first goal for me just showed that we didn't get back in shape quick enough, or try and get back behind the ball quick enough, and that's something that we'll address.
And Jamie Paterson came on for a few minutes. What do you see from him going forward?
He's got to get up to the speed of things. I thought he was too loose on the ball. He gave it away 3 or 4 times, and he was the first to talk about that. I thought the subs in general needed to be better. I thought we gave the ball away too cheaply when we came on, and they're our finishers who need to come on and make an impact, and we probably just didn't quite do that enough on Saturday.
Bigger picture, just how you feeling? It's been kind of a rough go at a bad time. No,
I feel okay. I mean, listen, football's a funny game, and sometimes a loss can be catastrophised when it's all not that bad. And I've just shown the video to the players and shown the opportunities that we had that could have should have been good chances, or at least goals as well. And now they understand that, they have to put that into practice, because Montreal didn't create too much. I don't think either team created too much in the second half at all. I think most of the XG was in the first half for both teams. But we've got to be better at what we're doing in terms of executing what the game plan is, and I think if we do that, we'll be fine.
Jason? Really, just to follow up on that, I heard some of Tim Ream's comments post-game from Saturday night, but in just listening to you now, it sounds like no one, at least you're not putting any added pressure because of some of the recent struggles. So, I mean, how do you keep, I guess, the guys in the locker room from maybe putting added pressure, feeling added pressure? I'm
actually trying to add pressure onto the players because people keep asking me all the time, what do I think is the difference between the Premier League and the MLS? And pressure is the word for me. You know, if you lose a game in the Premier League, you don't go out for dinner, you don't go out for a drink, you're not seeing, you keep your head down and stay out because there's, you know, external pressure, whether that's media, whether that's supporters, or just the guilt of your own of being involved in your team that's got beat. So we have to put that internal pressure on ourselves to make sure we're performing to the highest level, whether that's our behaviours by when we come in here and go to train, or whether it's going to a game and playing. And you know, that is the biggest difference between the Premier League and the MLS for me.
Right, because in listening to Tim, it sounds like look, we discussed in the locker room that this is not good enough. So like going forward, it sounds like look, an extra added effort or attention to detail has to be made going forward. Yeah, and
there's small margins that affect football results. So we, in these last 3 games since we've come back, we've not been far away from winning all 3 games. We've been as far from winning all 3 games as we has been from losing all 3 games. There's not been much margin between all games. You know, we want to be better than that. We want our XG to be 3 against 0.6. The problem is been, I think all 3 games have been too even.
Caleb?
Hey, what's up, Dean?
Hey.
So you as a coach only have so much power and control over what a player can do, but as a player who maybe is lacking confidence in sort of a rut, how does a player sort of climb out of that position?
Work harder. That's always the first way. You know, go back to basics. You know, what am I good at? What's my superpower? Right, let's get back to doing that. I think that's always the easiest way when they you know, reflect and go back to what they're really good at and do that. That usually gets your confidence back very quickly.
Yeah, and in this game, many would consider it sort of a 6-pointer because you guys are sort of vying for the same positions on the table. Do you consider this a must-win match? Have you expressed it with the players at all, or how are you sort of approaching that?
No, I mean, a must-win match is when you're in the playoffs or you've got your final game and you need to get a point or win. They're must-win games for me. These are need to win. You know, not must win, need to win, because that will help us. I've not seen any team get 6 points for 1 game, you know, so I'm not a big believer in 6-pointers.
All right. And just last one for me. You guys have got some big results on the road this season against Cincinnati. Definitely been some good road warriors. Can you guys draw on that against a side like Orlando that's won 6 out of the last 8?
Yeah, I think that was the thing I've just said to the players again. You know, before the break, the 3 previous games were 3 of the toughest games you can get. You know, Cincinnati away, you know, we had Miami previous to that, and then it was Columbus away, Austin away, and we came through, you know, them 3 away games unbeaten. You know, with 5 points, probably should have been more, but you know, probably our fortune or our profligacy in front of goal has not been as good as it should be.
Thank you.
No worries.
Real quickly, with it.
Profligacy, nice word. Do you feel like your attack is diverse enough? I mean, I see a lot of times it's getting off to the wing. Do you feel like you're getting enough through the middle?
I could come back with a real good answer here and say, well, we've got a Polish lad at the moment, we've got a Colombian, an Israeli boy. So it's diverse enough, but I know where you're coming from. Sorry. Yeah.
Spaniard.
No. We've got different types of player there. So, you know, if I look at the strengths and weaknesses of all of them, you know, Carroll is his finishing ability. We need to get him into, and he needs to get his body into places where he's getting finishes on goal because he's technically a really good finisher. Pep, we need to get him on the ball in areas where he can find a pass, because I think after 10 minutes he put a great ball over the top for Kerwin. If Kerwin sees Leal, he puts him in for a 1v1. It doesn't happen, and Kerwin's game is about being 1v1, as is Leal's. So we need to keep working on what they're good at.
The UN appreciates your answer.
Thank you.
All right, we'll wrap it up online. Let's start with Sam, and then we'll end with John.
Hey, Coach, how are you doing?
I'm good, thanks, Sam. How are you?
I'm doing great. Just really wanted to ask, you know, spiritually and mentally, you know, where are the members of the team right now?
I don't know. Spiritually and mentally is a tough one for me to know where they are. Listen, they're not in a bad place. They're disappointed because the return of points, 1 from three games, is not to the standard that we're used to and what we probably deserve. But it's our job as coaches to build them up and show them things that we've done really well, show them things that we need to get better at again. But as a group, as togetherness, yeah, they're still together, that's for sure.
And then, going down the stretch here, obviously, we have Orlando on Wednesday. Is there any special or different message you're imparting to the team, or is it really the same ethos?
No, it's the same ethos. And I've said this consistently. Any team can beat anybody in this league. I think that's been proven all the way through. Yes, you got Miami running away with it. What's it called? The Sports Shield.
Sports Shield.
You got Miami probably running away with the Sports Shield at the moment. Other than that, and I feel on the day we should have beat Miami when we played them. So anyone you play, you can beat, and every team in this league will probably feel like that. Some will go through runs of form, good or bad, and but it only takes one win to turn things around.
And then finally, is there? Do you feel like there might have been too much tinkering over the summer? Is there maybe a reason to think of if something's not broke, why fix it?
No. For such a long question, no. I don't think there's been too much tinkering, to be honest. No. We wanted to improve the squad, and we feel we've done that. Have we got the results that show that yet? No. But it does take time as well.
I appreciate it. Cheers.
Thanks, Sam.
That's a lot on my bet.
Thanks, Sam. We'll end with John.
Dean, you mentioned that you feel like the difference between the Premier League and MLS is pressure, and having a guy like Tim Ream, who you know well from the Premier League, from your time there, just talk about a player like that who's been through this before, has experienced that type of pressure, having him in your back line, and also how he's fit in so far with the club. He's
fitted in really well so far. It was one that we've been toying with and trying to do for an awful long time. I think it gives you more balance by having a left footer, but it's been really tough because we saw how productive and how well Andrew Privet had been playing all season alongside Adi Malanda. So yeah, it was tough, but he's come in and done well. That's not to say that Privs isn't pushing to get back in as well, but his mentality is a good mentality. He's got on the end of a set piece goal, which we've been crying out for at times on Saturday, and his mentality and standards as a standard bearer, along with Ashley Westwood, is a strength of ours.
Also, you mentioned that there are a few things that maybe Jamie needs to work on and can get better. And with the crunch of fixtures coming up, a short turnaround with this match in Orlando, then another match on Saturday, I also heard mention that maybe some secondary scoring, if I heard that correctly. Do you feel like players like Jamie and Leo, that they'll be important going down the stretch, so you could have sort of that, I don't know if you want to say secondary scoring or that supportive scoring for these games down the stretch, so that attack can become more dangerous and more diversified?
Secondary scoring. We haven't spoken about secondary scoring at all, no? Sorry, I'm lost a little bit on that question. Sorry, can you go again, John?
What I was saying is that I heard someone else mention that there maybe has been, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, a lack of maybe secondary scoring, and then someone asked you about Jamie because he came in for his debut the other night. And what I was saying is, with the amount of fixtures coming up, and obviously the lack of, at least in the last 2 games, goals, do you feel like maybe if Jamie can just work on a couple of those things, continue to get used to the squad, Liel's scored a few goals this season, to have those type of players support the main players in attack, so you become overall more dangerous and more diversified going forward into the final third?
Yeah, we've actually brought players in now who I believe can go and, you know, score goals as well. Jamie Paterson being one of them. He's been a proven assist maker and goal scorer. Pep Biel the same. We're hopeful that Idan can come and do that as well, having come in and scored goals for the legacy. You know, so, you know, if, like at the moment, Carroll's got 2 penalties, he's not got a goal from open play yet. You know, if players are struggling, then we want players who can come in and, you know, make a difference. And as I said, on Saturday, I didn't think our difference makers came off the bench, and, you know, we probably have to do that sometimes.
Final question for me would be, yourself, someone who's, again, in the Premier League, you've experienced the pressure of trying to keep the team up and playing these important matches down the stretch. What, from the experience you've had that you can transfer over to MLS, what's your message to the team as you look to obviously make the playoffs and maybe have them finish the highest they've ever been in their 3 years of being in MLS?
I think the big thing is you just take each game by as it comes. That's all you can do. You can only ever go and get 3 points. So my consistent message is, right, this is a new game. This is a new beginning for you. This is how they're likely to play. These are their strengths. These are their weaknesses. This is how we're going to hurt them. This is how they could hurt us. So we have to stop. This is how we have to play in different situations. I think when you go into, you know, 6 games left, when you build it like that and break it down, then they know, you know, what their performance levels have to be to go and win that game.
Cheers, Dean. Good luck on Wednesday.
Thanks, John.